Yeah. So thank you so very much for being here. We really, really do appreciate you. Hi, Nolan. Thank you so very much for coming in as well. So glad that you are here. I wanted to say a massive thank you to every single person that has joined us, that is taking part, and you're sacrificing your precious time to be here with us. This is our 15th Global Live Speakers Summit, and we are going to be hearing from you all how to become the best versions of ourselves. But before going into all of that, I'd love to give a bit of background to us, who we are and why we do what we do, and who started the Global Speakers Talk. So Global Speakers Talk is an international company that was founded in 2021 in the industry of public speaking by the amazing Ensu. Ensu lives in India. She's a mother. She's a personal growth trainer, and she found a place that she wanted to know how to be the best version of herself through sharing her voice, through meeting minder-like people just like us. And she found that creating a group like this and hosting events would be key to all of us. So we organize online events for uncovering, discovering, and enlightening our inner voice all around the globe. We are determined to rising and lifting international, encouraging and inspiring new coaches, speakers, authors, trainers who are feeling camera shy to face the fear and do it anyway. So we are here for you, for every voice, providing accountability in our private group with a warm welcome to share. We do share feedback, and we help to strengthen the voice within you and give you that confidence to go and do anything that you really would love to share, what you feel are called to do. So our core values is we believe that every voice, every new voice is a story to be told. We want to see a light grow and impact the world. And our vision is to inspire, raise, and help 1 million inner voices to show them their true potential. And about a little bit about me, I am Josephine Kalagira. I am the comeback queen expert, but I've not always been like this. I had a personal injury in 2017, and I thought I would be able to get through it quite quickly. It did not happen. And my son, who was at the age of 5, became a young carer. When I found out, it broke my heart, and I was like, you know what, I need to do something out of this. I struggled with physical, mental health challenges, but I was able to come back up through sharing my story in a book that is called The Revolutionary Breakthrough: How I Turned My Setback into Purposeful Comeback. It's a self-healing book. And I went on and published 2 more other books, and another book is coming very soon in June, which is about impacting the world. So I am here. I feel called to share my voice, to inspire, to empower, and support other people through challenges, through trauma. Those people have received, had a personal injury, and you feel that, you know, maybe there is some contemporary issues that are going on in your life, and you feel like, how can I get back up? How can I get through this? Who do I need to speak to? I do this with other women and men who would love to do this. And when I found this community, I was like, I wanted to come to be part of this because I feel my story needs to be told, either to some people who are looking after their loved ones, the people having their spouses or having their kids who are going through difficult times. And I found this was a very, very good platform for me to be part of. And that is a bit about me. And without delaying, I would love to invite you to invite the amazing first speaker, who is called Castillo. She is a digital marketing specialist. She exhibits her true Sagittarian energy. She's a digital marketer, personal branding specialist, and a live stream host. She's a speaker and a voice artist from the Philippines who has always believed that authenticity is the best call to have. Whether you are speaking to the audience, marketing your brand, creating your business, or simply being yourself. And today she'll be joining us to talk more about staying true to your energy and to help us be the best version of ourselves. So let's put our hands together to welcome the amazing Pal.
Hi, thank you so much for that great intro. And I'm so happy to be here with my fellow speakers to share this virtual stage. We're from all over the world and united tonight at this time to just share our story, share our voice, which is at this point kind of the energy that I really have and aspire to be with everything that I do. So I plan to do a presentation for this talk tonight, but then I'm like, I want to, show up the way I usually show up. Just talking to people, just being present, just being myself, and taking this as an opportunity to get to know other people's stories. And I want to be here the same way that this event found me. So, this event found me scrolling on social media, wanting to share my voice. So, here I am now, still able to share my voice with everyone else. And looking at the promotional poster of the event. So I saw it says digital marketing specialist. That one was just like posted a couple of months ago, but so much has happened since then. And I'll be sharing more about that in a little while. So as a digital marketer and a branding specialist, I do content over and over again. I write content, I do taglines, I basically try to know people and get their personal branding penned down, or I talk to small businesses, ask them how we can help them out in getting their branding polished or getting their branding out there. And sometimes I get to work with similar clients or similar industries. So, for example, I work with hotels. So, I've worked with countless hotels, local and international. I work with basically the same types of clients or same types of businesses. So, if you're doing content for basically the same, train of thought or line of messaging, sometimes it gets challenging to kind of like know what you want to say or what you want to put out there. So one of the things that I like asking my clients is that what do you really sell? Oftentimes they tell me, the basics of, oh, I sell a pen, I sell a notebook, something to that effect. So your main products, your main whatever it is on the surface level is the usual answer that they have when I ask them like, what is it that you're really selling? And then I stop and ask them, okay, let's try this again. So, how do you want people to come to know your brand? So, for example, you're selling a notebook. Maybe you're selling a way to stop time. Maybe you're selling a way to preserve special moments, special memories. So there's this subtle distinguishing factor when you're doing content for similar brands or similar clients. There's this one factor that would set them apart, and that's something that's internal. That's something that is not exactly actively marketed as, or actively, like people can actively see it in your promotional material. So a common example I have with me right now is like Coca-Cola or Nike. When they say like just do it, yeah, they sell rubber shoes and apparel, sure, but just do it is like, go for that sport, take that first step, do that active lifestyle. So there's always going to be that one distinguishing factor when you market stuff. And in the same way, that's a lot like how we can be in life also. How a lot of us can be similar. Like we can be like someone else, a lot like someone else. We can share similar traits, similar background, similar way of thinking, or different kinds of stuff that we share similarities with. But at the end of the day, there's something about us, whether it's in our experience, it's a mix of our experiences, a mix of our interests, a mix of our personalities, a mix of our attitudes. All of that, come together and make us exactly who we are, in a way that even if we are similar to other people, something can definitely set us apart. And there are so many who are like us, but not exactly like us. We can be a lot like someone else, but not fully someone else. So again, something in our mix of everything that makes us who we are is, well, makes us who we are in a sense. And in keeping that simple thing in mind, if there's one thing that I would commonly answer when when I get asked, or people ask me, how do we become a best version of ourselves? Because I've been doing a couple of talks, especially here in the Philippines, and college with college students who are confused or like you don't really know what to do. So what's the next best thing to do? What's the next best course of action? What can we do? What's the next best thing, basically? It's kind of a challenge to answer what the next best thing is, or how you can become the best version of yourself, because at the end of the day, it differs based on where you are in life or what stage you are in life. So for example, you just got out of college, fresh from school, and you'd be like, you're after the next big career. Or you're, once you started working, you're after that next big stage in your career. So it kind of like differs on where you are in life or what you're doing in life. At least to me, that's how I see it. But in terms of giving an answer to that question, how can I be the best version of myself? There's one thing that I kind of like balance in my head. Sometimes people would tell us, or we'd see all over the internet, oh, just figure out what you want to do, or figure out what you want and then see from there. But when you think about that question even more, what do I want? It's a mix of so many things. It's a mix of stuff that you can't actively answer all the time, or stuff that can also differ depending on which stage you are in life. But if there's one thing that kind of like sets it apart to me, is what is it that I don't want? That's what I try to kind of like center my way of thinking. What is it that I don't want, and then how can I work to, get go away from those that I don't want? So for example, I don't want to be stagnant in life. I don't want to settle down for the bare minimum. I want to keep exploring the extent of what I can do for myself and for others. And I don't want to just stay here and be this person through and through. I would hope to be a different person by next year. I would hope that by it's April 30, 9:15 p.m. where I am right now. I hope by April 30, 2023 at 9:15 p.m. I would be a different person. I would have different experiences by then compared to what I am now. So that's kind of like how I operate, is what is it that I don't want, and then from there see how we can welcome everything in life. And with that, I allow life to happen. And I show up the way I show up. I've shown up in this talk. Just me sharing what I can and sharing what I know. I've lived the past couple of years very timidly, to be honest. And probably if 2020 self, or 5, 10 years ago self I would go back in time and I tell her, hey, we're doing this online talk with a bunch of other global speakers from all over the world. She'd be like, "What do you mean? Are you for real? She's really doing we're doing this? Huh?" I've lived my life in so many timid ways, just in the background, just like watching life go by and be like, "Yeah, I don't think I can do that. Yeah, that's not me." But then I'm like, "Yeah, no." I kind of like want to stop dimming my shine and let myself grow, and from then on, that's how I became the best version of myself, one step at a time. At this moment, this is the best version of myself. Probably tomorrow, probably next week, it's an entirely different version. But that's how I try to do it. I just stay true to my energy, staying true to myself, and see what aligns along the way. Even when I talk to whichever audience that I may talk to, whether it's in front of global speakers, in front of college students, in front of aspiring voice artists here in the Philippines, because I do training for voice artists, I just show up and share what I can and what I know. So earlier when I started talking, I mentioned that looking at the promotional material for the event, I can say that a lot has already happened since then in just that short span of time. So at the time that um, promotional material was created, I was still a digital marketing specialist, but now I am a senior sales specialist. And it's an opportunity that I wouldn't have gotten. I wouldn't even have dared think that I would have the chance to have this kind of opportunity if it wasn't for those instances that led to it. And what led to it is just showing up in how I know myself and what I know, sharing what I can and sharing what I know. So that's basically how I share being the best version of myself and how I want to inspire being the best version of yourself. Because when you search for stuff online, there are so many tips and tricks that you can do. Some might even feel like you're being pressured to be someone else or go beyond your comfort zone in a way that's already intrusive or doesn't feel right with you anymore. But I'm like, yeah, take what you can and leave what doesn't resonate. Then from there, just show up in the best way you know how, see what aligns. If it doesn't align, move on ahead. And this is the best version of yourself today. The best version of yourself tomorrow can be someone else entirely. And just stay true to your energy and see what aligns, see what flows. So let me ask you, how do you become the best version of yourself? So that's it for me. Thank you so much for listening to that quick sharing.
Thank you so very, very, very much, Pao. That was powerful. Thank you so much. Creates a lot of curiosity as well. So if you do have any questions, please type them in the comments below. And if you do get some time, we will ask Pao to answer them for us at the end. And of course, we'll be putting some details in there as well for you to connect at the same time. So we are going to be introducing our next inspirational speaker, who is Insaf Amor. She's an international speaker. She is also an inner engineering transformational coach, hypnotherapist, and a yoga teacher. She helps clients gain mastery over their mind, clear the emotional and energy blocks to get crystal clear about their true desires, to live the truth of their heart. So she consistently creates powerful processes and toolbox to deep intensive transformational coaching, working at the conscious, unconscious, and super conscious levels of the mind and body imprints. Her passion is to be total immersed in mind-based coaching, hypnotherapy, and complementary therapy and yoga breathwork. So let's put our hands together to welcome the amazing Insaf to tell us about her and how we can be the best version of ourselves.
Hi. I welcome you all and thank you for this introduction. So how can we be the best version of ourselves is a big question. And the first thing, the first question or the question behind it is, why are we looking to be the best version of ourselves? It's always about something we don't like in our reality for now and that we want change. Wanting to change this reality lead us to ask this question: how can we be the best version of ourselves to change this reality? And the first thing we have to do is taking the full responsibility of all what happens that we like or that we don't like. Everything that happens in our lives is the reflection of our thoughts, of our beliefs, and of our emotional state. In my coaching practice, I use a 5-pillar method to unlock to your fullest potential and your best version. The 5 pillar is I call it the 5R. First, it's to recognize where we are and what is the reality we are creating and from where we are creating this reality. In this step, we're gonna walk through the conscious and unconscious mind and to make some unconscious beliefs being at the same level at the conscious level. And whenever we understand it consciously, whenever we gain this awareness, we can instantaneously like shift the state. The second R is so recognize and release. Release whatever does not serve us, whatever belief does not serve us, whatever thought does not serve us, or whatever emotional state that does not serve us, like being in anger, being in resentment, being in grief, being jealous, being envying, being judgmental of the self, of others, of life, of events. And the release step is a deep work. We can use a lot of tools in the release step. The first step, the recognition, is almost a release, like at from 40% to 70% of the release, and sometimes it's 100% release. But the other like part, if it doesn't, if we need some more work, we go through guided meditation, we go through hypnotherapy, we go through some deep like coaching tools to release some like core beliefs and some very like heavy emotional state that needs deep healing. The third R is reformulate. Reformulate and rewire. Rewire your mind to get the new thoughts, new beliefs, and reformulate the way you are thinking. Once we are aware of some situation or how we create such situations, we start like reformulating from we are taking what we don't want and reformulated through what we want. So what we don't want becomes like the way to know what we really want. The fourth R, like recognize, release, reformulate, and retrain. We're gonna retrain ourselves. We're gonna retrain our brain to get through these new thoughts. And there are many ways to retrain our brain, either by positive affirmation or by the direct way, like by action. Because if you go through action, it is the easiest way to retrain ourselves. But sometimes we have to choose between this and that, or we can use them like simultaneously. And the fifth R is the rewarding. Whatever we get through, whatever tiny step we reach towards a better life, better reality, we have to reward ourselves and to be grateful for ourselves, for doing the job, for going the hard way or the easiest way to get where we want to be. I want to give a small example for one of my coaches to make this easier to understand. I remember I have a call from a mom who was very frustrated about her child, her 10 years child. She says he doesn't want to go to school and he's irritable, he's always crying, and no matter how much she tried to understand what is he feeling and why is he crying and why he's so sad and so feeling so bad about himself and why he's fearing going to school or refusing to go to school, So I got a session with the child. I will call him Momo, whether it's not his real name. And we started talking about how he started his day going to school. And he started like telling me about how he woke up late and his father started insulting him. And it was his father who started getting him to school. Before that, it was his mom. And this becomes like a new habit because he changed the school and the father got him to school. And during all the traject to school, he's insulting him for being late, for not being disciplined and everything. And he keep quiet. He doesn't say anything because education, like he is a child, he must respect his father and not say anything. But when he go to school, I asked him a question. Whenever you step out of your car, your father's car, if you have to write down in a sheet of paper, what is your feeling? What is your state? How are you? He says, he writes it down, he says, I am a victim. You can beat me. And this is what happens to him. He got bullied in the school because he felt like a victim. He is carrying the energy of the victim, the belief of being a victim. And I started working around of this being bullied. And I asked him, why do you think these people are beating you, are treating you bad? He say, and why you are not like defending yourself? He say, I am a kind guy. I cannot be violent. I cannot use violence to defend myself. I cannot be like them. And I told him in another question, do you really think you are a good guy, a kind guy? He said, yes, I believe I am. And I asked him, if you would be a good guy, how would you live, Momo, in such a situation, in such despair? How would you live? People insult him and beat him. And I speak in a third, like part person, like I am speaking of him like a third person to make him see what is he like letting himself through. And he started like his awareness shifts and he see himself like in another screen and in another movie, like a movie, like he's getting beaten and no one is there for him. So the only person who could be there for him and who could be kind to him is to defend him. To not let anybody step over his boundaries. He has to get boundaries. He has to tell people that they can't do such thing to him. And we worked along with all the underneath, like emotional wounds, fears, etc., by so many tools and means, especially at the energetic level. Like we associate every feeling has an imprint, a body imprint, a body, an energy that is blocked in our body. I describe this like our body is our the web of all our emotional wounds. And then after this shift of awareness and this shift of energy and healing process, I asked him to put on a paper. How would he show up later? And he write down, I am invincible. And it was, I couldn't like tell him or instruct to him or show him better way to show. I couldn't find another word. It is his word. It is how he sees himself and how he will carry this new energy. And after some days, he called me and he told me that he's defending himself. Like he go to school, and the ones who used to like bully him, he asked them, he go for them and he asked them, would you like to go for a fight? And he told me that they didn't even like fight him, like they pull out from him. Just they start the fight, but they pull out from him because his energy says that I'm strong enough. I can fight. I can help myself. I can defend myself. I am invincible. And this is what counts more, because people, they see your energy, they feel your energy, even though they are not conscious of it. Before they get to your physical body, they are already getting your energy from your energetic level, from your emotional level, and from your mental state. And this is the real defense we can all put ourselves. How we can serve ourselves is to shift our vibration, to believe in ourselves, to take the responsibility of our feeling, and to be willing to go through the darkness of this, like wounds, work on them, see them, talk about them, and let them shift. If we try to hide from our feelings because we want to show like good face, being kind, or being educated, or being whatever, like a form of showing the self in the society, in the norms of the society, we are not serving ourselves. We have to see that anger, that sadness, that any feeling is legitimate. But we have to walk through it. We don't have to stay alone in it. We have to know how to recognize it, to see it, and to give it the chance to shift itself by itself. So this subject is so interesting and so long. So I hope I just give a glimpse of what we can do, because we can go so deep in it. And basically what I can tell is we have to work in both fields, like our mental state and our emotional state. Our mental state is usually hidden by the story we are telling ourselves, our daily story. And we have to go through our subconscious mind to unlock these core beliefs that are like guiding the whole life, our whole life, and go through the web of our body to shift these emotional states, and to give a very nice tool that everybody can use to both master the mind and shift the emotional state. I can mention the Anapana meditation, which is like you are focusing on your breath and you are telling your mind, just you can be the witnesser of your breathing without trying to control it or change it. And we are telling our mind to be just in this subtle region of our physical body, and we train our mind to be with us, to work with us, and not to work against us. We're gonna treat our mind like a little puppy, like we give him instruction, and whenever he doesn't follow, we're gonna be gentle with him. Just we're gonna instruct him again to get to the breathing, this the larger triangle of breathing. We're gonna have thoughts. We're gonna have many thoughts coming out in this Anapana exercise. And whenever we find ourselves getting through thoughts, we just remind ourselves to get back to the breathing with the same gentleness. And then after the Anapana exercise, mastery, we're gonna go through the Vipassana exercise. And the Vipassana exercise is that we are going to go through our body and to witness every pain, every wound. We don't have to understand what is it. We just have to sit with it and to consider pain as just a pain. Be with it, listen to it, go through it, go to the center of it, and it will shift by itself. It needs engagement to work through your body, your mind, and your emotions, and to be your best version, and to recreate your life experience through the new version of you, your new vibrational state. Thank you.
Wow, it feels like I've been in a session already. It feels like I'm having goosebumps everywhere. I don't know how everyone else is feeling, but that was so good. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Insaf, that was very helpful. Thank you for sharing that. Please do put your questions in the comments, and if we do have some time, we will ask Insaf to answer this for you as well.
It will be my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So we are having our next amazing guest, who is called Nolan Clay. He is a human mindset specialist. He is the brilliant and dynamic founder of the trademarked self-development program, Be the Best Version of Yourself, running under the company Straight Talk with Nolan Limited. A born South African, Nolan is almost intuitive, has an almost intuitive knowledge of diverse range of pulses that make up the heartbeat of an African continent. And most importantly, he has been there. Much like many South Africans today, Nolan's childhood was a humble one. He has seen poverty and hunger, done homework by candlelight, worked mouth jobs to put food on the table and to get himself through school. Nolan focuses his attention on restoring humanity together with his foundation, Be the Best Version of Yourself. They work on various projects. This year, they will climb one of the highest mountains in Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro, to raise funds and give the gift of hearing to a child. Even more inspiring is that 7 of the 15 climbers are from the deaf community. So he believes that this is the start to bridge the gap between the hearing and deaf communities. Let's put our hands together to welcome the amazing Nora.
Thank you so much for your kind introduction, Josephine. I hope you can hear me clearly, right?
I can, but I'm also trying to make you a host.
I got sharing ability, so it's fine. You don't have to make.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much. And I love the topic. So once again, to Global Speakers Talk, thank you for inviting us. We're really grateful for the opportunity. I'm going to start off with a video, and I'm going to explain to you how I use the terminology, be the best version of yourself, on myself to recover from certain things in life. So I'm going to start, if you can bear with me, I'm going to start with a video, and I hope you can hear it. If you can, Josephine, just give me the thumbs up. I'm just going to play this for a short while.
I'm going to try to cut a video firstly. I want to say so thankful and grateful to all of you, for all your messages. It's keeping me great. It's keeping me sane. You know, when you fight for your life, no matter what, there's so many prayers happening throughout the world. I get Christian verses, Christian songs, Muslim verses, Muslim songs, Tamil songs, Tamil verses. I accept all. I listen to it all because when I'm here, I only see one God, and I see all these soldiers around me, and those soldiers are all the gods that we pray for in our respective ways. So it's very difficult, but I am taking it one step at a time. This here is my lifeline, oxygen. I have to record these snippets, so it's helping me breathe. Not too much today, but once again, thank you. Thank you for your love support to me, to see what Anisha made as well. We'll get through this. Short pass. It's not an easy journey. When you fighting for your life, it's not easy, but what else? I've got so much to live for. I can't give up. Give up now. To all my nieces, nephews, even yourselves, giving up is not an option. Don't give up on life. It's not our purpose. Don't give up. Fight your battle. We're all going to climb mountains every day of our lives. Remember, those battles are what determine who we are as people. Life can never be a straight line. It can never be smooth sailing, because then it will be boring, right? So, give it all. This is the one life that we all have. Make the most of it. So once again, to everyone who's been sending messages locally, globally, etc., I am immensely grateful. I am thankful. I promise I will walk out here. I will walk out here and I will share a story with the world. So take care. I'll chat to you soon. The one last thing I want to say, I love you. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to try to cut a video.
Okay, yeah, thank you for your time in watching that. There's so many nuggets that are in that video alone. That's actually me last year, January, when I went through COVID pneumonia. And the reason why I wanted to show you the video is showing up and being the best version of yourself. I speak about gratitude. I speak about God. I speak about the different religions, and I'm making people understand that no matter which God we pray to, there's still one God. It's just different beliefs. So I'm trying to tell people that we need to respect every religion. We need to respect every race, every sex, every culture. Let's respect humanity for who it is. I also speak about gratitude in there. No matter what condition I was in, I was still grateful that I still had a lifeline. I still had oxygen in there to keep me actually going. So how did this all start? And I'm going to read an excerpt from this book. My topic is actually called Turning Pain into Success. And you'll see in a short while what I mean. I remember this day clearly. It was a Friday, 16 days after being diagnosed with COVID-19 pneumonia. I broke down and I was in a bad state. I thought to myself, is this the end to my precious life? What is going on? People around me are dying. Must I witness all of this and still focus on my recovery? So that's exactly how I felt. So let's go back to where this all started. I was out for a run early January, and I could taste some chemicals on my lips, and I just thought nothing about it because I live very close to an airport. So normally when the planes land, they tend to dump their fuels, etc. So I thought it's something that's still lingering in the air. So for the next 8 days, I started getting sick. I started getting worse and worse up until the point that my family found me outside the house, kind of like crumbled like this in a squatting position. And that's when they had forced me to go to the hospital. I was very stubborn. I did not want to go to the hospital because COVID-19 was very big. I was not a believer of COVID-19. And till now, I still don't understand it, and I'm battling to make sense of it. But long story short, when they found me, they immediately rushed me to the hospital. I got to casualty. My oxygen levels was 58%. So the minimum it should be is like about 80 and above. I was 58%. The doctors took one look at me, and they looked at my family, and the doctor shook his head in a way that this guy is not in a good state. This guy could lose his life anytime. So I ended up, while I was there, I was able to get some words out, and I saw the tears on my wife and my son's eyes. And I said to them, I made a decision then. I said, don't worry, I will walk out of this hospital. Immediately, I was reflecting to everyone that I am going to be the best version of myself, and I will fight this. So I ended up spending 13 days in the intensive care unit. There were a lot of trauma that I had to experience. My bed was very close to a door. Whenever that door opens and people come in, you just immediately know they come in to say goodbye to their loved ones. That's the last time they're going to see it. That's how bad the cases were. I saw operations happen there on a daily basis. You could hear the operations going on. You can hear people crying every single time. So it wasn't the best of times. While I was there, there was a doctor that was opposite me, and this doctor was pulling out all these pipes, and he was falling on the floor, almost hallucinating. And he's basically saying, I want to die, I want to die, I want to die. Now imagine this for a second. This is a doctor who's meant to be saving lives, but he's calling out for death. And that broke me on my day 6. And I got to the point where I almost wanted to give up on my life. I'm human, right? I'm allowed to go through all of these emotions. I'm allowed to feel all of this pain. But the one thing that my daughter did is she took a copy of this here. And this is something which I carry with me every day. It's my goal card. I learned this from the late Bob Proctor, and it carries all my goals with me, and I keep it in my pocket because I wanted to remind me every day what my goals are and what I need to be going after every single day. So eventually, when she sent me this, I had to snap out of that victim mindset, that self-pity mindset, and start focusing on how I can actually start building myself. So I had to practice my daily prayer, my meditation. I had to up it. If you guys know about meditation, or if you haven't tried it, please try it. When in my meditative state, I imagined soldiers going through my mouth and going out and fighting whatever was eating through my body. I lost about 10 kgs in that time, in that 13 days. And I felt like my soldiers were fighting against whatever was eating through my body. And as I carried on meditating, it became a reality. And I started regaining my strength. I could barely take 10 steps in the hospital, and I climb mountains. I'm a cyclist, I'm a runner, I'm a very sporty person. I could barely take 10 steps while I was in that hospital. So it's really not easy, going through all of this trauma. The one thing that really sticks out for me is losing my independence. For the first 4 days, I could not brush my teeth. I could not use the bathroom. I could not wipe my behind. That's what a bad state I was in. And these nurses and doctors, they are the earth angels. They are our earth angels. They actually had the task of doing all of this for me. And I felt a bit shamed that at my age, somebody is doing this for me. But then I realized they're such humble human beings, and they were so willing to help me out on this journey. And they just said to me, Mr. Pillay, don't worry. We are here. We got your back. Whatever you need, just shout, and we will be here for you. So it was a very, very traumatic experience. I remember on my day 1, I couldn't do anything. So I lied flat on the bed like this. So the next day, the physio came, and I was able to get some words. So I asked her, what can I do to improve my situation? And she said, if you can sit up like this in your chair every day and allow yourself to be in an upright position because you can breathe better, you can recover much more sooner. And I did that. So I called the nurse. I said, can I sleep in this position? She said, it's up to you. And believe me, for 12 days, I sat and I slept in that chair in an upright position. And that helped me on my recovery. They used to come and do some tapping exercise on my back. And this tapping exercise was to release whatever was causing all of these blockages. Now, the one thing that I did experience though is, and I say this in my humble opinion, going onto a ventilator was not a good idea for anyone. And I tell you why, because you get pumped up with medication, you're not in the right state of mind. And if you're not in the right state of mind, how are you going to fight and get out of the hospital? How are you going to allow your body to self-heal? To me, self-healing was a reality because I practiced it on myself. All the learnings that I did over the years came into practice during this time, and I started doing it. So eventually, I started visualizing myself walking out from that hospital, going into a car that's waiting for me and coming back home. But unfortunately, because of hospital protocol, I had to be put into a wheelchair to the door, and from the door, I walked to the car. So my visualization still came true. I created this mental image. So what I'd like to share with you is there's various mind acts and techniques that I used on myself in there. Meditation was one of it. Prayer, like I said, I received prayer from so many different religions. I did not ignore it. I listened to every single one because prayer is so important. I was doing my breathing technique. I was doing my gratitude technique. I was grateful for the nurses, for the food, just for the accommodation. It was raining. I was grateful for the shelter. So all of these actually help. I was setting daily intentions. I'm not sure if you guys, as part of being the best version of yourself, set daily intentions for yourself. When you wake up in the morning, set your intent for the day and reevaluate it at the end of the day and see how far you have come and whether you've achieved it. If not, not a problem at all. Next day, go after it again. So when I wake up in the morning, I keep asking myself, what can I do today to be better than I was yesterday? And I do this all the time. It has become a habit now for me. So we spoke about the breathing, we spoke about the prayer. The other thing is when I came home, I had to be on oxygen for 1 month. So, carrying these oxygen tanks and walking around. And I said, no ways, Nolan, you're not going to do this for the whole month. Now I had to start training myself on being without the oxygen for an hour, then 4 hours, then 8 hours. Eventually I was out for a day, then a week. And I said to the company, please come and take this oxygen away and give it to somebody else who can use it. I'm fine now. I'm fighting this and I'm going to be better. Now, guess what? When I meant turning my pain into a success, through that pain, for the last 5 years, I've been trying to write my autobiography, but I have not got down to doing it because maybe I was too lazy, maybe I wasn't getting the time, etc. But while I was in the hospital, I did the video that you guys listened to, and people saw this on my social media, and they said, Nolan, the world needs to hear your story. And I asked, how? They said, well, write about it. And at that stage, I didn't know I'm going to write a book. So when I came out from the hospital, I still was a bit lazy. I still started thinking about it. And then I realized, well, maybe write the book. And I wrote a book with 2 intentions. One, if you've lost a loved one through COVID or know somebody who's lost a loved one, the book allows you to understand what a COVID patient went through, and they can reach some peace and closure in their lives. The second part is I share mind acts and techniques that I used on myself to get out of that situation. It's just past a year. It's just under 18 months. And look at me today. I said in that video, I will share my story with the world. What am I doing today? I'm being the best version of myself. I'm sharing it with all of you guys. This is the book I'm talking about. It's called My COVID Journey, Mind Acts and Techniques That Got Me Through This. So any issue or any obstacle that any one of you have in life, please remember, like Insaf has spoken and Power has spoken about the power of our minds. You can use anything to overcome any obstacle in life. The key is you must want to make the change. You must want to be a better person. You must be inspired to do so. You don't have to do it on your own. There's wonderful people around the world that can inspire you on your journey. People are here ready to help you, right? So listen to motivational speakers. Listen to everything. Don't ever think that you are alone. You are not alone. And the last point I'd like to leave you with is it's okay not to be okay. It really is. Coming from a man, we think that we've been conditioned that we can save the world, but we can't. We need to realize as men that we have a masculine and a feminine side. The more we come in touch with it, the more we're going to become better human beings. And I'm not only saying this to the men, I'm saying this to the women as well. We all have two sides. So it's best that we get in touch with ourselves and understand who we are as people as well. So as a gift for you taking your time just to listen to me for this 15 minutes, I am going to ask you to fill out a form, and I'm going to give you a free copy of my book to read at your leisure. I will post that in the chat. Just complete the form. I'll email the copy of the book to you, the PDF copy to you as well. And yep, thank you so much. Once again, I really appreciate every single one of you for listening, and much love to you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wow, Nolan, thank you so very much for sharing that with Global Speakers Summit. That is something that we all resonate with. It's so come so close to every single person of us. And I think you are so amazing, and it's so important that you have not just kept that to yourself. You're sharing it with the world, and what a better way of sharing it with being the best version of yourself on this same topic as well. So thank you so very much. I look forward to reading your book as well. So thank you. So we are going, please, if you do have any questions again, type them in the comments below. Our guest speakers will be coming and answering those for you, or anytime anyone will be watching a replay, maybe you're in the group Facebook group and you have a question, we'll be forwarding this on. So don't feel like, this is just talking. We need an interaction as well. So thank you so much. Our next guest is called Hendra. He is an inner engineering coach. He is lived and worked more than half of his life. He was born in Indonesia and has lived in Singapore, California, and China. He is a high-performance mindset coach and works with entrepreneurs and business owners to get clarity of what they want to achieve so they can manifest and achieve their life's desired dreams, transform their lives, and live a life of purpose and have fun while doing that. So he has worked with entrepreneurs and corporations and has been invited as a keynote speaker at conferences, has been invited as a guest lecturer at universities, and is currently is holding a leadership position of 2 non-profit organizations. So let's put our hands together to get to know about Ping and also share with us how can we be the best versions of ourselves.
All right, thank you everybody. Really appreciate all of you for sharing, especially Nolan. Thank you so much. Now this question is for everyone but Nolan. How many of you here set goals? We saw Nolan with his card, so I'm assuming not everybody has that card. So I'm asking you a question. How many of you set goals? I see a lot of hands are raised as well. Awesome. How many of you are currently still working on your goals? It's been maybe 5 years, 4 years, and you are still working on it. Awesome. There are actually only 5 simple steps in order for you to achieve your goals. You want to know what those are? Step number 1, know where you are right now. Step number 2, know where you want to be. Where you are, know where you want to be. This is the bridge, right? So step number 3, know what you need to do in order for you to get there from where you are to where you want to be. That's the bridge, right? Know what you need to do. And number 4, know when do you want to achieve this by? How long does it take? What will it do? And what exactly is that destination? And number 5, do it. It's so simple, right? It's so basic. By now you might be thinking, Ping, this is really basic. What are you talking about? Yes, it's that basic. Now my question to you is, if it's really that simple to achieve your goal, why are you still working on it? Why haven't you achieved it already? Have you ever wondered that? Why you are still working on this goal? And for some reason, the more you want to work towards your goal, it seems like there's a resistance, not only from the universe, but from yourself. It seems that there's a resistance between what you want to do and what is it that you want to get. Now, this is a very basic concept. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about it. What is comfort zone? Comfort zone is when you are at your most comfortable state, you're at your most relaxed state, and you are quote unquote the best. When you are at the best at what you do, you are at a comfort zone. Everything is easy, everything is simple, and you don't have to do a lot of things. You don't have to do a lot of effort to get there. That is comfort zone. Now, human beings, we want more of the same. That is why it's called human nature. We want more of the same. We hate change. We really hate change. How many of you here work at a company or for your own business and you want to set up a new system or you want to do some kind of new things? How difficult is it for you? I raised my hand as well because that's exactly me. It's really, really hard. Even for me, I was also similar like Nolan. I also run quite often. And when I changed a new shoe, it's a pain. It's hard for me to even take a walk properly or run properly when I change a new shoe. Sometimes I just fell and injure myself. See, human nature, we want more of the same. But in order for you to be the next version of yourself, you have to change. So right now you're fighting against human nature. There's a tug of war between you resisting change and you wanting to change. There's a fight right there. So if you are fighting against human nature every single day in your life, who will win? Human nature wins or your resistance wins? You have to marry. It's like a dance with human nature. See, I learned from this book. This is one of the best book in my opinion. For those of you that have not read this book, please read this book. It's good. Start with Why by Simon Sinek. And this book, I have it tagged here. It's the Golden Circle. Why, how, and what. And in this really thick book, he only talks about, and he's proving only one thing. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do what you do. Very simple, it's the Golden Circle. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do what you do. If that works for multi-million or billion-dollar industry, why can't that work for us? Think about it. Tell yourself, tell your human nature, it's not what is the thing that I want to pursue, it's why I want to pursue that thing that makes a big difference. Perhaps for Nolan, when he wants to climb that Mount Kilimanjaro, if that's not, if I didn't hear it wrong, there must be a strong reason why he wants to do that. For him to write a book, there must be a very strong reason. Even though it says, oh, because some of my friends or people from social media push me to write that book, there must be another deeper reason. Is that because of legacy or is that because of something else? I don't know. And that why is only you can answer that question. And with that, with the help of Mr. Simon Sinek, not by his help, but I'm learning from him, I created my own circle. This is Pink Hendra's goal circle, not golden circle, goal circle. At the very top, it is the what and how. This is what everybody always focusing on. How many of you do SMART goals? Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time sensitive or time bound. That SMART goals only focuses on the what and the how, nothing else. which is why you are fighting against human nature. Okay, and the second layer is why. Why you do what you do. Why is it that you are persevering to achieve this, even when things don't go your way, even though change is tough and you are having resistance, you keep on trying to achieve your goals. This is important. There is one more layer that has never been discussed, but I'm so glad that Insaf talked about it a little bit and Nolan talked about it a little bit earlier. And this is who. In order for you to change, you must be willing to change. Nothing else. In order for you to level up from an entrepreneur earning $1,000 to an entrepreneur earning $10,000, you must level up. No one else can do it for you. No other circumstances can do it for you but yourself. You can, sure, you can have systems, you can have automations, you can have all that tactics, but this is the key. Who do you want to be? In order for you to get to what you want to be. And all this I summarize into 4 things, and Nolan also talked about it, which is great. So number 1 is, first of all, you need to decide. First, make a decision. Decide that you want to change. Decide that this is the goal that you want. In December 21st, 2018, there's a very big event. It's a meeting at my company, the previous company that I worked at. And the boss was inviting everybody to the meeting room. And in that meeting room, I was in charge of raw material production at that time. We are at the woodworking company. So the boss asked me, hey, Ping, for a log of this inches, if I want to cut it to this size, whatever millimeter, what is the maximum yield I can get? I see some of you are like that. So am I. So what I did was I told my boss, hold on, boss, let me dude, you studied all the way. If you're frustrated, and I told my boss, you know what? You can find someone else to replace me. I quit. I told him right away. And when I told him I quit, that was on the 21st of December, approaching Christmas. And at home, I told my wife, I just told the boss I quit. And my wife was like, really? Are you kidding me? Our baby is just 1.5 months old. And you're telling me that you want to quit? How are we going to afford all this money for all the expenses that's coming up? And I said, you know what? I will do whatever it takes to get things going. Otherwise, then I'm a dumbass, my boss's words, I use that, and you can leave me. And she said, you know what? As scared as I was, I agree and I support you. And that's all I need. That's all I need, that spark. And from then and then I decide to, you know what, I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to make sure that I will do whatever it takes to get there. Okay, so on the 1st of January 2019, a book came. My friend sent me a journal. Perfect timing. So in the journal, I still have it framed here. Like Nolan, I'm pretty crazy with my goal. I have it framed and I wrote down here, move to Bali with my family by December 2019. I didn't know why I wrote Bali, I didn't know why I wrote December 2019. I just write it and I believe it. If you think of the SMART goals, I don't know if I achieved the SMART goals, but that's what I wrote down. But there's a reason behind it, a strong why and stuff, okay? So, and I decide to work on myself. Listen to what I said. I decide to work on myself. And you know what? 6 months later, revenue, big fat 0. Why? Because I decide to work on myself. I did not decide to make money. I did not decide to work on the business. I work on myself. See, words are very powerful. Whatever is it that you want to decide, you must be really, really, really sure what you want to for your goal. You want what you want, be very clear and be very specific, because what you ask, you receive. The questions that you ask, you will receive the answer based on the questions that you ask. So when you set a goal, set it carefully. And that's the mistake most people did, is because they don't know how to set it the right way. Okay, so number one, you decide first, what is it that you want? Number two, commit to it. Even when things don't go your way, when things are tough, commit to it. And the third one, which Insaf shared a lot, it's belief. You just need to believe. Just like my wife said, as much as I'm scared, I believe you and I'm sure you can do it. That, my friends, is the only thing you need, belief. Okay, of course, belief, there are two types of belief, right? You have limiting belief and you have empowering beliefs. But that doesn't matter. What matters is belief first. Believe that you can do it and you're already 50% there. Halfway there already. The only thing that makes you one step closer is perseverance. It's when your why is stronger than the suffering that you'll receive when you are pursuing your goal. And last but not least is do whatever it takes in order for you to achieve it, whatever it takes. Okay, so if you have an acronym, it's decide, commit, believe, and achieve. Okay, and I hope that for all of you here, whatever it is that you want to achieve, whatever your goals are, no matter how crazy, no matter how people say it's impossible, you cannot do it, if you just believe, you will achieve it. And last but not least, look at all these books here. This is not self-help, it's shelf-help. It's useless if you don't take action. So one last thing, the most important thing is, don't read all the books to get all the answers. It's pointless. Get the answer of the one next step that you want to take. Just that one next step that you want to take. That is the one that you need to read and really focus, and then you take action on that particular step in order for you to reach the next step. If you read your books to know what the next steps are, you'll get so overwhelmed that you're back to your comfort zone. Okay, so be very comfortable with the uncomfortable so that the uncomfortable will become comfortable. Okay, and with that, thank you so much for listening to my story. And same with Nolan, I'm going to also give you a gift, and I will put the gift on the chat. Okay, thank you all for listening to my story, and I hope it helps you. Thank you.
Oh my God. I get really, really excited when I hear you inspirational guest speakers share with us how we can improve this. It's like a reality check within what we do and what we love to do. So that was very, 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 very helpful thing. So thank you so very much. And again, if anyone has any questions, if you're in the private group or you're here and you're not a guest speaker, please put your comments, put your questions here, because we are learning a lot at the same time. So thank you so very much. It was helpful. Our next amazing guest is called April, and she is an author and global speaker. She has published a number of books, and she's also an amplifying speaker. So she has overcome abuse, with her 5 children, but she's been able to turn that around, and now she shares with the world and empowers women how to move from trauma to truth and darkness, and come from darkness to light by helping them heal through their story and share it boldly. So through writing and speaking. So through her podcast as well, Beacon of Light, she highlights the authors who write about hope and healing. And she also does ghost writing. So she takes your work through her head, your work, what you've gone through your head and your heart and your hands, and turns into a masterpiece. She lives with her husband and 9 children. Let's welcome the amazing April to share how we can be the best version of ourselves and also get to know a bit about her at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Today I'm going to be using my hands because I have 2 deaf daughters. So I will be using American Sign Language. So if my daughters ever see this, they will know that mom was still communicating with them. So if you don't understand sign language, that's totally fine, but that's why my hands are moving this morning. So this morning, I have a question for all of you, which is, to become your best self, can you understand how to become a supporter, and what is a supporter? So in our time together, I want to help you to understand what a role could be for a supporter, understand how you have strong boundaries, know what to say to help somebody who you might run into, who is possible that they are in abuse, how to build empathy, and how to become someone's Gloria. Does this sound good to everybody? So in our life, we have many opportunities to come across a lot of different people. And in our lives, as we kind of live, and as so many people have said, it's usually the experiences that impact us the most, and that creates the story. So I am like so many of you, there is a story there. And as we share the story, we learn how we can respond, how maybe we didn't respond, or in our response, we reflect back and think, I think I could have done that better. And sure enough, in life, you will be given another experience and opportunity to try it again, whether you like it or not, right? Because life is filled with different kinds of experiences. So as Nolan and as well as Ping, I too have a gift for all of you at the end. Then I will drop it down, and it's to ask you kind of a self-assessment about, do you know how you could support somebody? And I call it the supporter's IQ. So we'll kind of see how that goes with everyone today. So thank you for the great introduction. I am a published author, and I did share my story, Pinpoints of Light. And this story is how we escaped the abuse that we were in. And I didn't always, come from abuse. I actually grew up with a very loving family and was really into a lot of different sports, and setting goals for a sport like gymnastics is very important, right? Because you need to be able to achieve different pieces of your life and move things forward. I was also really involved with church and with faith, and those seem to be a huge foundation for my life. In all of that light and in all of that love, there was also an opportunity for some darkness to come in, because I believe that everything has an opposite. So just like we've talked about in so many of your amazing stories, the opposition, which is in all things, describes that if you see light, you will cast a shadow and have darkness as well. The point is, you make a decision on where you're going to focus. Do you focus on that light, or do you turn and only look behind you in that darkness? Every day we have to make this choice. So when the dark things happen in our lives, it's not about blame, and it's not about anything else. It's about, what do I do with what has happened now? Can I heal? Can I move forward? And in that life where I was in a loving family and all of that, the darkness that came from a neighbor who sexually abused me. And the reasons why and how and all of that, the experience was definitely imprinted upon me, but I knew that there was more. That was not who I became, but it was a part of how I could learn how to turn back towards that light. And who did I find to support me in that part of healing? There was a huge, important amount of people, and my family was a key part of that. Friends were a key part of that. And now, as I'm feeling healthy again and ready to take on the world, I really, my whole life, my why was having a family, having many children, and raising them with love, understanding how we can love and serve one another. That was the goal, still is the goal. And through experiences that we live through our life, we sometimes feel maybe sidetracked. And like Ping said, the comfort zone, well, I call it a comfort cage, because you can find yourself that the comfort is easy to stay and you're not progressing. And if we don't progress, we just stay there trapped, stuck. And many times we have built our comfort cage out of lies, out of the lies we tell ourselves, out of the pain from experience we've had, out of abuse. You can name it, fear even, and we will sit. But because it's a cage, somebody can slip right down beside you, and this fellow's not the best. I call this person a shame shadow. Several of you have talked about shame, right? Either the shame that you felt because of the experience you had, or a traumatic event that occurred and you wonder about that shame that happened. Well, that shame shadow is always going to be your negative talker, and it's going to want to pull you towards that darkness. And it sits there trapped with you in that comfort cage. Who wants that? Nobody wants that. So you want to leave that and turn into our learning zone. And in the learning zone, it's tough, it's hard. But when we act and when we take the challenges that are set before us in our baby steps, whether that is going through a healing journey, whether that's finding the new job, opening up your own business, writing that book that might scare you to death, it doesn't matter. In learning is where you grow, because that's where the light shines. And in order for your seed to grow, you need to stand in the light. So in the abuse that happened to me as I got married, thinking that my life has been healed and I am on my way, the abuse turned into something where I don't think anyone goes looking for that, right? And I like to share the story about my first husband, my ex-husband, because his light was very dimmed as a child through sexual abuse that happened to him. And I'm not saying that all abusers came from abuse, but many did. And the decisions that impact their life, if they don't find some type of healing or light to turn to, can be very challenging and troublesome. So for myself, we kind of would go through these cycles where together we were doing well for those first 1 or 2 years. And then he would cycle down into depression and in substance abuse, and the mental health started to decline. And then we would cycle back up, but we would never reach back to the full top. We would kind of get about to here. We would maintain for a while, and then it would cycle, and down we went. So those challenges were really hard. And within that, on our upswings, I usually discovered I was pregnant and we were going to add to the family, and we were hopeful and things were well. And then the slide would happen again. Shame would come in and the darkness would set. It's similar to if you've ever looked at a picture of the sun at the horizon. Do you know if it is rising or if it is setting? We don't know. We don't have a reference. We don't know if that's the east or if that's the West. We don't know what's going to happen. In most marriages you enter into, you're pretty hopeful that it is a sunrise, and that as you go through your life, the days and everything will just be filled with opportunities. Now, challenges will always be there, but the opportunity to live, to make better choices, to improve are there. But if you go into a marriage or a job or whatever, and it is at sunset, you're falling into that darkness. In that darkest point, I describe the abuse that happened to us as my ex-husband being in his own cage, as almost as if he was a caged animal. Now, let me explain. The abuse cycles that happen, some of you might be familiar with, they do have a base within power and control. Now, I call the first set hunters. Hunters know their prey. They know who they're looking for. They know who they could lure in, camouflage, pull towards them. And then they play that cat and mouse game, pulling them in, controlling them with the power, with words, with physical, with financials. You can name a plethora of things. And they do that for their own control. Now, were they abused? Were they not abused? Too big of a question to answer for today. The other side are those caged animals. And I say that because if you've ever seen an animal in a cage, they don't know if they can trust you. They don't know if you are there to help them or to hurt them. And the end result is they will strike out, which then is the abuse, which is more of what my ex-husband suffered from because of the mental illness of schizophrenia, as well as substance abuse. Those two challenges combined with our cycles of trying our best to stay active, to stay within light, was very challenging. Now, there are statistics that I can share all with you, but really what is an impact for all of us is that we need to know that we have opportunities to grow through these things. Many of you, based on statistics, 1 in 3 women worldwide have been in some type of abuse. And that abusive situation, 1 in 3, the odds are you know someone. So today's question is all about how can we become that support? What do? We ourselves, we might feel afraid. We don't know what to do. We don't know what to say. How do you build trust with someone? Can you empathize? Are there do's and are there don'ts? And so the first part is that really we need to learn how to respond when we see somebody that might be in that abuse, and help to break our own cycle of fear, right? Of, I don't know if I'm going to say something right. What if I do something wrong? That fear that we stay in. We need to learn that we can come through that and become a supporter fully. In that we can learn to not be afraid. And we don't have to become a trained counselor. Really, it's about noticing, saying hello, maybe interrupting something, and being part of a support that really is part of light. There is a huge quality that I drew strength from while I was in this abyss of abuse, is what I call it. I was down in this darkest part, figuratively, and there was no hope. There was no belief. When that happens, you're searching for something within the dark. Have any of you ever been in a cave before? A few of you, maybe. In a cave, when there's no lights, your eyes are searching. You can actually feel the muscles search and pull for light. And if someone has the smallest pinpoint of light, your eyes will immediately draw to it. Why? Because eyes work with light. Our spirits work with light. Whatever your beliefs, there is a connection with light. And with that light, I found one pinpoint, and that led me to another. And these pinpoints became those supporters within my life because of what they would say, maybe because what they could do. Now, I want to share a special story about 2 amazing supporters in my life. One is my family, particularly my sister. She was one who, while abuse was happening, she was my vent. I could share and express a lot of things that would happen. And she patiently listened. She empathized. She sat. She never gave me action steps of what to do or decisions on what to happen with, because the key she learned was that no one has control. Being a supporter means the person who is a victim or a survivor at the time, they are the ones that make the decisions of if they need to leave or what's going to happen next. If you're part of that support team that just becomes the ears where they can vent to, afterwards, you hug, you embrace, because they might say, like I said, but I still need to stay. And it would have been devastating if she would have said, you need to go now. I probably would have broken those small strings of trust with her. There are stories upon countless stories that we can look through, but really supporters, they know their boundaries. They know that if they are part of that, the person that listens, that they will sit and empathize and listen. If they are part of the ones who help to maybe hold the special bag where they're going to be escaping to, and if that's all that they can do, that's fine. They know their boundary. They know how they can support because they know their measure of light. What we want to do is to not take things personal. If you have been there as that support for years, continue to do so, because the timing will be right. And when it is right, they, meaning the survivor or victim, will reach out to you because they know they can trust you. So in number 2, building of trust is huge. It is a large thing. How we do that? We listen, we talk, we communicate. Who has coworkers? Anyone over there? Coworkers are fantastic. You can become friendly with them. You can become a support through work, because work is a place where you can hide things, right? You can be that part to give information if it's needed and still be safe. Remember that the person within that darkness, within the abuse, they have to be the ones to make the decisions, but they need to know they can build a team. And when their time is ready, they can leave. And if you decide to be part of that, your support will be immeasurable. Now I want to tell you our third part is, after we build this trust, it is of becoming someone's Gloria safely and with the depth of empathy. I decided one night, as the story goes, which I share within my pinpoints book, so I don't want to spoil the story, but there was one day where an event happened and I had to make a decision. In this decision, there was legal support there, a police officer. This police officer named Officer Drescher handed me a card. On that card was a simple phone number of a place for women to go for support and safety. I had to make a decision. Was today the day I was going to go, or was I going to stay one more day, one more week, one more month? I decided to take action, right, Pink? I decided to just take action and move, and that was the day. Officer Drescher, he was the one that gave me that first out. Next on this journey of leaving with 5 children in the middle of the night, in the wintertime, being homeless, living in our van, I ran into another amazing supporter. Her name was Gloria. Now, Gloria ran a hotel, and I came into the hotel that night trying to look confident, trying to let everybody know I've got control over this, and I didn't. She could see right through that, but she didn't say anything. She helped us check into the hotel, helped me get to my room with all of my kids. Again, this is winter. I have 2 kids with no shoes. We fled for our lives that night. She could see that there were some problems happening, but she didn't say. until we opened the door, put my things in, got my children inside. And she said, honey, are you running? And I said, yes. And she said, you'll be safe on my watch. I handed her a picture of my ex-husband at the time. And we stayed for 3 nights, 4 days in safety. On that 4th day, Gloria gave me a wink. And I thought, I probably need to talk to her. And I spoke with her and she said, your ex-husband came looking for you. And with that knowledge, we escaped again. These are the pinpoints of life that supporters can make all throughout. Being a supporter means that you are there at the right time. And when the opportunity is presented, just talk, become that friend, show the empathy. Remember, it's not about you, it's about the other person. Help them, love them, and allow them to make the decisions in their life. These are challenging things. And again, you probably statistically know someone. So how can you be a light to someone? How can you become that best person? How can you become that supporter? I shared with you that at the end, I would give you guys this information about a supporter's IQ quiz, just to see where are you as we look at our fellow brothers and sisters, who I like to call our human family. We all need help. We all need support. Even my ex-husband, he needs a team around him to support, to give hope. That's not me. And it's not anyone else who's been in that abusive scenario. But there are people who are there to help. Isn't that life? Isn't that, instead of becoming the victim or the villain, can we all become victors? That is the idea, is that how can we really support one another? Thank you all for listening and sharing with me this opportunity to share the light. Know that all have it within themselves, and all can make a decision to follow that light or to stay in the darkness. It's up to you. Thank you.
April, thank you so very much. I hope you're all feeling the feels, because that was amazing. Thank you so very much. If you've got any questions, I encourage you to write them in the comments, because we love connecting, we love networking, we love sharing and exchanging, and you never know who might be here and going through a challenge or going through something that any of our guest speakers can help you with. And what better way of building relationship from here to getting to know this person? You don't have to try as much, because you know someone will support you and help you get through what you're going through. So thank you. That was amazing. Our last guest is the amazing Jeannie Gan. She is a public speaker. She is also a working mother of 3, all under 10 years of age. She inspires others to go for their dreams, live authentically, and live their best lives. Jeannie is extremely passionate about working, especially with women, by empowering them and reminding them the importance of self-love and self-care. She is passionate to inspire others through her work in coaching and public speaking and consulting at the same time. So let's put our hands together to welcome the amazing Jeannie.
Hello, everyone. Hi. So I hope you can hear me clearly. So, wow, it has been a very humbling 1 hour, 45 minutes. And I'm just really glad to hear so many beautiful stories from all of you. So this would be my time to share with you just also a small story of myself. I think all the speakers have basically shared a lot of what I wanted to share. So I'll just go with the flow. So the first thing when I heard about this topic, how to be the best version of yourself, one quote that came into me, that literally came into my mind was, it's by Mark Twain. I'm not too sure if you've heard about it. It's called, the two most important days in your life are firstly, the day that you were born, and secondly, the day you find out why. So I think when it goes to think about how do you be the best version of yourself, to me, it's really about finding your why. And I see many speakers like Ping also mentioned about why. Of course, he drilled down even further into the who. And I think for myself, I'm born in a very traditional Asian family. I'm always from a very young age, I'm actually asked to be good in my studies, get a good job, get married, get a good career, and then you'll be off or set for life. And the thing is that I did went through that. I did go through that phase, that way of life. And actually, when I graduated from university, frankly speaking, I was very, very lost. I managed to get into a university to study engineering. And the only reason I took up engineering was because I was very good at physics and mathematics. And upon graduation, I had to go for, interviews. And of course, as an engineering student, I actually signed up, went for interviews as an engineer. And I actually went for that, even though it really didn't resonate with me. So I ended up as an engineer with a multinational company. And the first year that I really dreaded going to work. And that was where I started to really trying to find out why am I doing all this? Am I doing this just to fulfill whatever other people's expectation of me? How can I change this? Because I really don't feel good. And when I see my co-workers who are working, who have been there for like 10 or 20 years and they hate their life. And that was like a big warning or big call for me. So that was where when I started to read a lot of books, to try to uncover the layers and, in a word, trying to so-called find my real passion and find my real purpose. So after reading a lot of books and so on, I also started doing prayers and learning how to be grateful, putting out my thoughts in journals. I realized that actually it is not about really finding that something that is out there, like finding your purpose or finding your passion. I realized that it is actually all the while, it has always been in me. And I realized that it's not about finding, it's about uncovering your why, uncovering your passion, uncovering what makes me happy, what makes me me. And I also started asking myself questions like, what excites me? What inspires me? What energizes me? And around that time, I actually had the opportunity to also work with children. And when I started to see how children play, they are in like this meditative space. And I started to rethink, how was I as a child? I remember growing up in, I'm actually from Malaysia, so I'm from a very small kampung. Kampung means a small village. And the first 5 years of my life, I didn't have running water and electricity. But I always had the opportunity to go out and pick these rubber seeds. I'm not too sure if you have seen them. It's like a marble. And I love playing with them. And I took the rubber leaves and I do cooking. And I realized that actually, I really love being in nature, being out there. That's why I'm always attracted to traveling. That's one thing. So I learned that, okay, I love traveling. That's one. And I also love following my father. So my father was a primary school teacher. Actually, both my parents are. And when they were teaching in class, I love listening to them. I love seeing how the other older kids play and work. And I realized that I also love connecting with people. And it was this little blinks of getting back to slowly uncovering what really fascinates me, what inspires me. It was there that I realized that I actually have a choice. I don't need to always follow what society is placing onto me, that this is what I'm supposed to be, or this is how I'm supposed to act. I have a choice. And especially as at this age, I think even as a woman, sometimes we are expected to act in a different way and so on. And I think that as the whole society is coming up in more of this kind of enlightenment and so on, I think we can challenge this belief. And it's about really getting out of your comfort cage or comfort zone, like what April and also Ping mentioned just now. So I think my message, or what I would like to share, is very simple. It's really, if a person, or if you are lost sometimes, it's really just going deep down, going back to yourself. Because what you uncover, if you just think about, for example, your childhood, will be very interesting. You may uncover something there. And also, of course, last but not least, I'm currently in a life coaching course certification. And I just realized, I think Nolan is in the same course with Mind Valley. So this is actually a tool by Rich Litvin. So he shares about this called the Energy Audit. This is actually some kind like it's an audit per se. So whenever you have time, when you have time for yourself, think about the people, places, project, process, and thoughts. So all these things that are in your life, think about what is it that fills you up, and think about what drains you. And it's advisable that once in a while, list them down, like literally list them down, what fills you up. So in my case, what fills me up is really listening to inspiring people like you today. And the more I'm being inspired, the more I'm more motivated to go reach for my goal, which is for now is to go to really coach and to bring about empowering mainly women. And for things that drains you, for example, for me, it's like doing the mundane work, the mundane housework and so on, for example. So what I do is that there are two ways to this for things that drains you. Either you try to change it to something that empowers you, or, in a way, just remove it or delegate it. So for me, for this like mundane work and so on, I would try to make it fun by doing it together with my children. I would also, in a way, be a bit lazy about it, because I don't think this is like very, very important all the time to have the house spick and span and clean. So these are the ways on how I slowly, and I believe surely, that I can be present and be the best version of myself whenever I am. So yeah, this is just my small little story, and yeah, just very glad to be here. Thank you. Back to you, Josephine.
Thank you so very much, Jeannie. That was incredible. Always, we love listening, we love watching, we love seeing you share your brilliancy with us. So it's so amazing, and thank you so much for taking part. And so we are going to be sharing this everywhere on our social media platforms, and we'd love you to share your details in our private group as well, and leave us a review. about how this is going at the same time. We love hearing from you. But again, if you do have any questions from the audience, any questions in the private group, any questions from anyone, please, now is the time for you to write them below, or just put your hand up to ask any of our guests anything that you feel you need to ask. We've got about 5 minutes to do this. Otherwise, thank you so very much for being here. Please do follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're all Robo Speakers Talk. Does anyone put their hand up? Yeah, we've got Joma. Unmute yourself, Joma.
It is not a question, but more of a gratitude to all the speakers who showed up. Every single one of you guys definitely made my morning worth getting up. All the gems that you guys shared helped me truly understand how important it is to live our life in a way not only give us joy, but also how impact other people. And that is the main lessons that I've heard from you all. And I appreciate you sharing your story and your lessons. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Really, really do appreciate you. We've also got someone, Sheila.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I have been so much, I've learned so much attending this meeting. It's my first time. I've been wanting to listen and then this meeting, learn more about what people manage, how they manage to overcome some challenges and difficulties in their life. And thank you so much to have this platform. People are free and open to share about what they face, and overcome, how they overcome those challenges. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I hope to be the next speaker. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sheila, for that wonderful feedback. I'm glad that you've been able to make it as well. Thank you so much. I think there was someone else. I think Frankie as well.
I was just amazed by the speakers today. Thank you so much for sharing your amazing information and your vital knowledge. It was so amazing because it's always about true stories and about true life. Now you've really transformed and fighting against adversity. So I really appreciate that. And thank you so much for sharing your amazing stories. I'd just like to ask a question to Nolan. Nolan, when you was in hospital, did you ever have the fear that you felt like you was going to die in the situation that you was in? Anything come up? How did you deal with that? How did you overcome that fear of being in hospital at that time? What actually got you through that process?
Oh yeah, that's a good question, Frankie. Fear is always there, right? I think for me, just being consciously aware that that fear is not going to serve me allowed me to shift my mind. And even when I saw that doctor pass on, I went into a very fearful mindset at that point. I was really terrified. And that's when I got in touch with my family and I said, I can't do this anymore. I'm giving up. And it was only when my daughter sent me that gold card, the picture of it, then I realized your purpose is still not met. And as long as you know that you are on this earth for a purpose, you can always bring that back into memory to make you offset that fear. So that's what worked for me.
Thank you, Nolan. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. It's amazing.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Frankie.
Reading your book, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. I can't wait to be reading all your amazing books at the same time as well. So thank you for those incredible questions. So all our audiences, wherever you're tuning in from, wherever you're watching in from, thank you so very much for taking part and for being here. Thank you for helping us grow. And if you're somewhere and you love to participate in any of these live summits, we do hold them every month. And we also have a podcast called Be Fearless that is hosted by the amazing Lisa Marie. I think she's over here as well. Lisa, I don't know if you're able to talk. Are you able to briefly talk about this?
I am. Hello,
Okay.
everybody. I just want to say a huge thank you for today. It has been, as always, truly inspirational, truly motivating. I'm always in awe of the caliber of speeches we get on these summits and how much there is to learn from everybody each time. Never stop growing, be lifetime learners. And that's what I love about these summits. You can always take things from everybody. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think they're all candidates for being on the podcast Be Fearless, don't you? I definitely think you're very welcome to put yourself forward if you're interested in joining us on an episode. We would welcome you. But this has been great.
Thank you so very much, Lisa. That's incredible. So that marks the end of, I'm gonna stop live.